Hey guys, how's it going? It's been quite a while since I've made an editing tutorial. I've been making some other stuff about video in the field stuff. If you haven't seen that and you're interested in videography, definitely go check out some of those videos. But today I'm going to go back into my regular schedule of just editing a photo. One I took a while ago. So this is a couple up in Portland, Oregon that we shot. And if you're familiar with Portland, this is the Max train going by them. Kind of an iconic thing. I don't really know why, but it's a train. But anyways, so I stuck them in this little spot right by the train tracks. And I really liked how it looked. And I had brought with me just one flash, I believe. It was just a speed light, a Yongnuo 560, really cheap flash and a small stand. And so for this shot, what I wanted to do was backlight them with the flash coming over here, hitting them, and that's what this rim light on them is coming from. It's just the flash. And then the light that's on their faces right here is coming from just the end of the tunnel where it's all natural light. So I was balancing natural light with flash, and I think I had a gel on my flash to make it all work happily. So for this photo, when the Max train was coming by, I really wanted to get it blurred like it is in this photo, but I was not able to in time. So this is what the photo actually looked like right here, raw out of the camera. It's moving, but I was shooting at 1/60th of a second, and I just didn't have time to drop my shutter, which would have messed up with my exposure anyways. But so in my head, this is what I wanted. And so I'm going to kind of go through my steps on how I created this. And then here's another photo real quick just to show you kind of what it looked like without the Max train. Kind of crazy. It's just kind of boring. It changes the dynamic completely of the photo. So that was kind of interesting what one small object did to the whole photo. So I'm going to go through this, make sure everything's reset. And I'm not going to do a whole lot to this photo. It's pretty simple. It's lit pretty well. Exposure is fairly good. I might just warm it up just a smidge. That's good enough. And I'm going to go down here to the blacks, and this is probably where I'm going to do most of my meat for this photo. I'm going to do that, and maybe go to the shadows and throw just a couple, about 26, 29, that's good for me. 22, we'll stick at that. Vibrance I might throw up to, let's say, 30, no, 20. I don't want to go too crazy. Sometimes it'll affect skin tones like that, and we don't want that. So we'll stick with 18. Okay. So moving down, I'm going to mess with these greens. I really liked how the greens looked. I might change the hue of them just a little bit. Not awfully too much. Maybe that's good enough for me. I'm going to grab the saturation on those greens too and throw them up a lot. I really liked what they look like. That is good enough for me. Okay, let's go down here, go to sharpening. I'm going to hold down Option on my keyboard. Slide this masking tool, and anything that is white is going to be sharpened. So I'm going to go right about there and then throw my sharpening up to like 60. That's good enough. It's a really sharp image. Shot this with a Canon 5D Mark II ISO 160 35L. Shot it at 1.8. I'm pretty sure I had an ND filter on because I was using my flash. And then 1/60th of a second. It looks like a pretty sharp shot to me. That's pretty cool. Okay, moving on, let's go down here. I don't use Vignette very often, but for this photo, I really wanted to isolate the subject. So I'm going to do something about that. That's pretty good. Okay, and that's looking pretty good. I might grab some more shadows and throw them in there. Kind of want to make it a little bit more moody. Kill those blacks a little bit more. That's looking pretty good. Might throw just a kiss of magenta in there. No, that's too much. We'll go back. Okay, so I might grab a brush now real quick and just go over some of this green grass over here and maybe over here too. Reset my brush and then maybe throw some saturation in there just to really make those greens pop just a little bit more. Maybe try some clarity. And we'll stick it at 18. That's pretty cool. Max train, we're going to do this blur effect in Photoshop. So I'm going to stop right where I am here. This is good enough edit for me right now. I might clean up some stuff if I really need to. But for time's sake, I'm not going to. So I'm just going to export this right to my desktop. And then once that gets to my desktop, I'm going to go ahead and open it up in Photoshop, and we're going to do a real quick mask on this train and give it some motion blur. So nobody will know this once it's done, but you know, it could be your little dirty secret. So I'm going to grab this photo here, pop it right into Photoshop. Okay, so now that the photo is open in Photoshop, I'm going to grab my magnetic lasso tool. This is a quick and dirty way to do this, but I'm just going to kind of go all the way down to the bottom of this train and just try to get a rough mask. It doesn't have to be perfect for these demonstration purposes. And it looks like the train kind of goes all the way out here. And then I'm just going to run over the top of it. And now it's all selected. And now that it's all selected, I'm going to go ahead and click copy, Command C, and then Command V to paste it as a new layer right here. So if I hide the whole layer, you'll see it's just got that whole train selected. And so with this layer selected, I'm going to go up here to filters and go to motion blur and set it. That right there looks pretty good. So I'm going to stick with that. I can even, you know, bring up the motion blur a little bit more. That's pretty cool. I'll stick with that. Click OK. And already it looks pretty good to me. You can see if we get rid of that layer, what it looked like before. Pretty big difference, but for time's sake, that's pretty good. I might touch up some of these edges if it was the final photo, but that looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to stick with that. And from here, I would go up to File, Save As, go to my desktop, save it as a JPEG, click Save, and do a full maximum 12. And now it's on my desktop. And for some reason it saved as Apogee, but that's okay. So there's the photo. And that was a pretty quick and dirty edit, but that's kind of just some techniques if you ever needed to blur something, I suppose, from Lightroom to Photoshop. So guys, hope you like that. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. That just shows me that you appreciate it, and I'll keep making them. And if you haven't already, check out my website, davidjamesvisuals.com, where I have a lot of other tutorials that are on YouTube and free presets for Lightroom and so forth. So, all right, guys, I'll see you later.